How is it going, everyone, and welcome back to yet another video on the channel. Now, today's video is yet another trade proposal that I have prepared for you, and this one is quite interesting. And as you can see from the title and thumbnail, this one is the idea of Mitch Marner getting traded to the Philadelphia Flyers in hope that the Toronto Maple Leafs can get a defenseman and a prospect out of it. Now, this one could be really interesting, as after watching the Leafs Columbus Blue Jackets series, I think it's fair to say that the Leafs are in desperate need of some reliable defensemen who can park the bus and really be good on the back end. As we can see, the Toronto Maple Leafs have a very good core forward group, and it would not hurt them to trade one of them away to help balance it out and really make a difference on the back end so they don't allow as many goals or rely on Freddie Anderson. Anyways, if you guys are excited for this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, do all of that stuff. We are almost at 3,000 subscribers, and comment down below, if you were the Leafs GM Kyle Dubas, would you trade Mitch Marner for a top 2 defenseman, a first round pick, and a prospect? As I think that would be the general asking price for a guy like Mitch Marner if you're trying to get a very good defenseman in return. Anyways, let's get right into the video. Now, obviously, the general consensus behind making this video in the first place is not like a couple of the other ones I have made, which is obviously a player underperforming and maybe needing a fresh start. This is more so the fact that we've seen the Leafs offense flourish even without Mitch Marner, and to me, I feel like they could lose one of their players, but their back end is a whole different story, and especially with injuries that frequently happen, especially now in the playoffs. We've seen guys like Jake Muzzin get hurt, and we've already seen guys like Riley get hurt in the regular season. The Leafs need some strength back there and some reliability, some guys who can just really lock it down. They don't need to be flashy players, but they just need to be able to do their job and prevent goals from going in. So that's why I feel like it wouldn't hurt for the Leafs to get a ton of stuff back, and even a couple of good defensemen to really strengthen their blue line and make it a bit more even. And as a result of the shortage in defense for the Toronto Maple Leafs, it's forced guys like Freddie Anderson to have to play their game every single time and repeatedly try and stand on their head game after game if it meant they'd want even a chance of winning the game. And honestly, I don't know about you, but I feel like guys like that deserve a bit of relief pressure. So why not trade Mitch Marner, get a ton of valuable assets, even replace him in the top 6 with a very good forward, get a prospect, get a pick, and most importantly, 1 or 2 defensemen that could really help you on the back end. But the most important thing through all of this is why Philadelphia? And I think the main reason that I actually chose Philly in the first place is because I feel like they have a very, very strong core 4 as it stands, and their depth is second to none. So even if they were to trade one of their 2 top 4 defensemen for a guy like Mitch Marner, they'd definitely be able to keep up and maintain that same level of just absolute excellence on their back end. So I feel like they'd be a perfect candidate in giving up one of their 2 top 4 defensemen for a guy like Mitch Marner and more. And alongside that, they're one of the hottest teams in the league, and you have to remember this on Mitch Marner's side as well. He's not going to want to go to a team that's rebuilding. He's not going to want to go to a team like, I don't even know, like the Anaheim Ducks or this or that, right? He's going to want to go to a team that's actually performing well, you know? So that's really important, and I feel like Philly, as one of the hottest teams in the league, is quite irresistible to want to join, as they may be winning a cup very soon. So I think the next question that we should be asking is, what would the actual price be, and what could the Philadelphia Flyers actually give up in a mock trade for Mitch Marner? And we'll be going over that right now. Now, I've done a little bit of research online, and I think I've finally found a trade consisting the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Philadelphia Flyers that I feel could further benefit both teams in the future. And this trade consists of Mitch Marner going over to the Philadelphia Flyers, obviously, and what the Toronto Maple Leafs receive in return for that is Travis Konechny, Felipe Myers, and a first round pick. Now, I think that this trade could very well benefit both teams in the future. Obviously, Felipe Myers playing that shutdown role, being reliable, does not need to be a flashy offensive defenseman that the Leafs usually go after. He can be very reliable, and he could be a very good addition to the Leafs blue line. Obviously, you have Travis Konecny, who could act as a replacement for Mitch Marner on the wings. Obviously, he is not as good as Mitch Marner, but he is just under point per game and someone who is still very underrated and a very quick player who, honestly, if I'm being real, resembles Mitch Marner's game in a lot of areas. So he would slide in perfectly in a top 6 wing role, whether that playing with Tavares or Austin Matthews. He'd be a very good fit on the wings for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And finally, that first, I feel like still Mitch Marner is still better than both Travis Konecny and Felipe Myers on its own, so I feel like that first can act as a sweetener to really just balance it out, because it would be close, but I feel like that first could really ensure that it is a fair trade. And if I'm being honest, I don't think that the Philadelphia Flyers really need a first round pick. They're already so good. They're already probably the best team in the league and one of the favorites to win the cup. They've just taken down the Tampa Bay Lightning in the round-robin game yesterday, and they just won the Eastern Conference of the top 4 teams in the East. So I don't think they will be needing a first-round pick anytime soon, and they already have so many good prospects who are already in their system and developing, including guys like Morgan Frost, who I feel like can come in and still serve as great additions on its own. But the Philadelphia Flyers are a stacked team as it is, and I feel like Mitch Marner would really strengthen them, and I think that first round pick would not be going to waste, as the Leafs could use it to draft someone who's really talented, whether that being a defenseman or an offensive player like they usually do. And I feel like Felipe Myers, obviously, he is not the flashiest player, but I feel like he will be able to get the job done and just be a very reliable addition. And I was debating whether or not to put a guy like Gostisbehere in there, but I feel like he's too offensive, so I decided to go with just Felipe Myers instead, because we have to come into consideration with the fact that, you know, the Leafs have to shy away from going after these offensive defensemen who they usually go after, guys like Riley, who, you know, not to talk bad about their game, but defensively they could use some work. So I feel like they could go for the opposite, the less flashy, less expensive player who will get the job done and be reliable. So I feel like that's my reasoning behind that. So I think that's going to end off this video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know, what do you think the asking price would be for a guy like Mitch Marner if he were to get traded to any team, and which team do you think that would be? Which team would be able to hold on to Mitch Marner and be able to make a fair trade that would benefit both teams? Anyways, I think that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be sure to catch you guys all in the next video. Peace.